Good afternoon, guys. This is Unit 8, Algebra 3, Unit Review. This is Rational Functions. This is page 1. So this one will include number 1 through number 7. Alrighty. So let's start off with number 1. It says to factor completely. Okay? So you try to make it where the v is to the first power, your variables to the first power. Let's take a look at number 1. You have one term, two terms. This, you see how there's a v squared? You're missing a v, so you can add a 0 in place of it. Minus 49 needs to be written in standard form, and then you can factors. What are some factors of v squared? V and v. I need two numbers that's going to multiply to give you negative 79, and it's going to subtract to give you 0. And what are those two numbers? Negative 7 and positive 7. And you are finished. There's number 1. Okay? Number 2, let's count your terms. 1, 2, 3. X is to the first. Your coefficient is a 1. Draw two sets of parentheses. What are some factors of x squared? X and x. 1 times 3 is positive 3. What are two numbers that multiply to give you 3? And it's going to add to give you negative 4. So that'll be negative 3, negative 1. So minus 1, minus 3. You notice how there's a 1 here? You could divide by 1 for your bottoms up, but there's really no point in it because negative 1 over 1 is negative 1. Negative 3 over 1 is negative 3. Okay? If you need help with factoring, you need to come see me before the test. All right, let's look at number 3. 1, 2, 3. What do they all have in common that you can factor out? You notice how it ends in 5s and 0s? So let's factor out a 5. When you factor out a 5, you have 2a squared minus. Go to your calculator and go 125 divided by 5. That gives you 25. Make your number as small as possible. 250 divided by 5 is 50. So plus 50. You still got 3 terms. This is what's left over. Bring your 5 down. Draw two sets of parentheses. Okay? You see this 2? We're going to multiply it, and then we're going to divide it. So you can't just give. You got to give and take. All right, so ignore the 2 for now. Factors of a squared is a and a. Now, multiply your 2 times your 50. What is 2 times 50? Well, that's positive 100. Find me 2 numbers that multiply to give you 100, and it's going to add to give you negative 25a. Well, if you don't know those numbers, go to your calculator to help you. Go to y equal, type in 100 divided by x. Go to your table, starts where x is 1. Do those add up to give 25? Nope, nope, nope. 5 and 20. There you go. See that? So guess what that is? So that's going to be negative 5, negative 20. Since they're adding, it's a plus, I'm going to add 2 negatives. So negative 5, negative 20. Do you remember this 2, how you had to multiply it? Well, since you multiply it, you got to go in reverse to keep it balanced. We have now have to divide it. This method is called bottoms up. The bottom comes up. Okay? So bring down your 5. Can I simplify negative 5 over 2 and get a whole number? Nope. So the bottom comes up, so you have 2a minus 5. How about negative 20 minus 2 divided by 2? So that's negative 10. And there you have factor to the simplest form for number 3. Okay? All right, let's look at number 4. This time you are to simplify your rational function, or in this case, rational expression, into the simplest form. Don't forget to state your excluded value. All right, let's look at number 4. Your numerator, nothing for you to do. That's just 10 times r. Your denominator, what do they have in common? 5r, so you're going to factor out 5r. When you factor out 5r, you have 2r plus 5. And now you're going to simplify. So you're going to mark things off. The r cancel. Whatever's 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. 10 becomes 2. 5 becomes 1. And I cannot factor anything else out, so I'm just going to write what I have. What do you have in the numerator? 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1, and all you have left is 2r plus 5. So there is part of your solution. Now let's look at our excluded value. You come up here and you take a set in the denominator. There's one group, there's another group. No, one with the variable. So you're going to say 5r cannot be 0 because you can't divide by 0. So r cannot be 0. So there's your excluded. Your other one, 2r plus 5, set that equal to 0. You solve. 2r equals negative 5. R is equal to negative 5 over 2. So I can have all real domain, except it can't be 0 and it can't be negative 5 over 2. Okay? All right, let's go to number 5. Here we go. Let's go ahead and factor 1, 2, 3. Two sets of parentheses. Factors of x squared is x and x. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 90, and it's going to subtract to give you 1. Be 9 and 10. Positive, so the big one is positive, the little one's negative. All right, let's factor your denominator. A is a 1, so I don't have to worry about that. Factor x and x. Two numbers that multiply to give you 70, and it's going to add to give you 17x. What is those? 7 and 10. So positive 7, positive 10. All right, let's go ahead and cancel. Right there. There's my holes. So my final answer is x minus 9 divided by x plus 7. And what can x not be? Set that equal to 0. X cannot be negative 7. And the other one, x cannot be negative 10. Because you would set this equal to 0. Just like that. Okay. All right. Number 6. Let's go to number 6. Okay. What can you factor out in number 6? In the numerator, you can factor out 2x. When you factor out 2x, you got x squared plus 2x minus 3. And I'm going to rewrite my denominator because I can't do anything with that at the moment. Okay, let's factor 2x. Factor what's inside your parentheses. Factors of x squared, x and x. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 3, and it's going to subtract to give you 2. So that would be 3 and 1. 3 be positive, 1 be negative. Let's factor your denominator. Factors of x squared is x and x. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 2, and it's going to subtract to give you 1. So 2 and 1. 2 is positive, 1 is negative. All right, let's go ahead and cancel. I can only cancel those two. These are not the same, and I cannot do that x. So, my final solution is 2x times x plus 3 over x plus 2. And x cannot be, look at your factor, negative 2, 1. Set each one of these equal to 0. Okay? And there's your number 6. Number 7. Let's look at 7. All right. This here is the same as b squared plus 0b minus 64. Okay? So let's factor. Factors of b squared, b and b. Two numbers that multiply to give you negative 64. It's going to subtract to give you 0. Minus 8, positive 8. Let's factor your denominator. Factors of b squared is b and b. Two numbers that multiply to give you 16, and it's going to add to give you 10. So that would be 2 and 8. So plus 2 plus 8. Let's cancel. There you go. All right, so my final answer is b minus 8 over b plus 2, and b cannot be. Opposite of that is negative 2, negative 8. And there you have your page 1. All right? Next video will be page 2. Thank you.